Hello everyone, good evening to all. Welcome to my channel Srihari Science Classes. In this class, I am going to share the concept of chlorine with you. So chlorine, its molecular formula is Cl2. It is existing in the nature as a Cl2, that is belongs to 7th A. This is one of the important concepts for the intermediate section and MSET and NEET also. Straightly, I am preparing this chlorine. So preparation, first one, it can be prepared by heating MnO2 with concentrated HCl. So I am taking the MnO2 as a reactant. So concentrated HCl, I am taking 4 moles of HCl, heating. So this mixture is heating. So manganese, on heating with HCl, manganese forms MnCl2, manganese dioxide, and 4 hydrogens with 2 oxygens. Straightly we can write 2 H2O molecules. And next, among the 4 chlorine atoms, here 4 chlorine atoms are combined with Mn. So remaining only 2 chlorine atoms, so Cl2. Here the formation of chlorine takes place. That is about the preparation of chlorine from these 2 reactants. And in the next method, instead of HCl, I am taking the table salt NaCl and H2SO4. Straightly I am writing that chemical equation. Similar MnO2 I am taken, manganese dioxide plus 4 moles of sodium chloride. To that 4 moles of H2SO4 is added, and a similar chemical reaction is occurring. So similar product MnCl2 is obtaining here, and one of the salt is forming, that is 4NaHSO4, sodium hydrogen sulfate formation takes place, and remaining 2 moles of water molecules along with the chlorine formation. So that is about the preparation of chlorine from manganese dioxide and HCl. Instead of this, we can take this mixture also. And the next method, it can be prepared by the action of HCl on potassium permanganate. So here, action of HCl on potassium permanganate. So potassium permanganate, its formula is KMnO4. So we have to react this one with the HCl according to this statement. So I am taking the 2 moles of KMnO4 and 16 moles of HCl. So both are reacting with each other, and there is a formation of potassium chloride is a salt, and there is a formation of again 2 MnCl2, manganese dichloride. And next thing, there is a 16 hydrogens and 8 oxygens, 2 4s are 8. So that's why I am writing straightly 8 moles of water molecules. So next thing, so here 2 chlorine atoms, 2 to the 4 chlorine atoms. So 4 plus 2, 6 chlorine atoms are removed from this reactants. Remaining 16 are there in the left side, 6 are removed, remaining only 10. Straightly I am writing 5 Cl2. That is about the formation of chlorine. So from these reactions. So this is about the manufacturing of chlorine. So from HCl and potassium permanganate. Beacon's process. In this process, Cl2 chlorine can be prepared by oxidation of HCl gas by atmospheric oxygen in the presence of CuCl2 at 723 kelvins. Here the CuCl2 that acts as a catalyst. So straightly I am writing the chemical equation. So I am taking the 4 moles of HCl. It was oxidizing by adding atmospheric oxygen, and the chemical reaction is occurring in the presence of CuCl2 and at 723 kelvins. It acts as a catalyst. 4 hydrogens along with the 2 oxygens, so forming as a water molecule 2H2O, and remaining So 4 chlorine atoms are there. Slightly I am writing 2Cl2. That is about the manufacturing of chlorine from the decay process. And the next one is about the properties. Slightly I am discussing about the physical properties of chlorine. So chlorine, it is a greenish yellow gas with pungent and suffocating odor. So pungent odor, very hard smell, and suffocating odor, it means so it can kill the living beings when there is a lack of oxygen. That is about the suffocating odor means. Next one, it is 2 to 5 times heavier than air. So that means as compared to the air, it is heavier. How many times? 2 to 5 times. And the next one is it is soluble in water. So chlorine that can dissolve in the water. So that is about the some of the physical properties of chlorine. Next one is about the chemical properties of chlorine. So first one, Cl2 reacts with a number of metals and non-metals to form chlorides. So for example, with the metals I am writing the chemical equations. 2Na plus Cl2 gives less to 2NaCl. Sodium is the metal. It reacts with sodium and gives which one? Sodium chloride. And next one, 2Al plus 3Cl2 gives less to 2AlCl3. With the aluminium, it reacts, it forms AlCl3, aluminium trichloride. 2Fe plus 3Cl2 gives less to 2FeCl3. With the iron, chlorine forms ferric chloride. That is about the reaction of chlorine with the metals. And I am writing with non-metals also. Phosphorus I have taken. To this added chlorine. Chlorine reacts with phosphorus to form phosphorus trichloride. And I am taking another one. This one is the sulfur that exists in the nature as a SEite, and with the chlorine, so it forms sulfur monochloride. So we have to take 8 moles of chlorine, that means 4Cl2. So here I am written the formula S2Cl2. It is a dimer of SCl. So that is generally known as sulfur monochloride. That is about the reaction of chlorine with metals and non-metals. When that reacts with metals and non-metals, that forms the chlorides: sodium chloride, aluminum trichloride, ferric chloride, phosphorus trichloride, sulfur monochloride, etc. These are the reaction between chlorine and non-metals. These are about the reaction between chlorine and the metals. So next one is about chlorine. It reacts with the compounds containing hydrogen to form HCl. The chlorine shows more affinity towards the hydrogen. So that's why that easily combines with the compounds which containing the hydrogen and gives the HCl. So right now I am writing some of the chemical reactions for that one. H2Cl2, H2 plus Cl2 gives us to 2HCl. And then H2S, it is a hydrogen sulfide, it containing the hydrogens. So plus Cl2 gives us to 2HCl plus S, sulfur. Next chemical reaction I am writing here, 2H2O plus 2Cl2. This chemical reaction occurs in the presence of sunlight, and the products are the 4HCl plus O2. This is about the reaction of chlorine with the compounds containing the hydrogen. In these all chemical reactions, formation of hydrochloric acid or hydrogen chloride takes place. That is about the reaction of chlorine with the compounds containing hydrogen. Next, reaction with ammonia. So here I am writing the chemical reactions which are occurring in between ammonia and chlorine. So here 8 moles of ammonia is taken reacting with the 3 moles of chlorine. So that means this was taken in a excess quantity. Ammonia that is taken in a excess quantity, that is treating with the chlorine, and here nitrogen formation takes place along with the ammonium chloride. Chlorine with excess ammonia to form nitrogen and ammonium chloride. So another chemical reaction I am writing that was also occurring in between the ammonia and chlorine. So 3Cl2. Here you can observe this one. 1 mole of ammonia is taken, 3 moles of chlorine is taken. That means as compared to ammonia, chlorine is excess here. So now it forms NCl3, nitrogen trichloride. That is a explosive substance, and another is 3 moles of HCl formation takes place. That is about the reaction between chlorine and ammonia. Again I am repeating, chlorine with excess ammonia, it forms dinitrogen and ammonium chloride, and next ammonia with excess chlorine forms nitrogen trichloride, explosive compound, and HCl. Next reaction with sodium hydroxide. So I am writing straightly chemical equations. 2 moles of sodium hydroxide is taken, and I am taking the chlorine. So here the formation of sodium chloride, another product is obtaining, that is NaOCl, sodium hypochlorite, and along with these two substances there is a formation of H2O molecule. So this is the product. Sodium hypochlorite is the product when we are taking cold and dilute HCl to react with chlorine. So next one, I am taking 6 moles of NaOH, here hot and concentrated we can say, with chlorine. When the chlorine is reacts with hot and concentrated sodium hydroxide, it forms 5 moles of NaCl along with another substance I am writing, that is NaClO3, sodium chlorate. It is known as sodium chlorate. And the next space is straightly I am writing 3 moles of water molecules. So that is about the reaction between chlorine and sodium hydroxide. So in the first reaction we have taken the chlorine and dilute NaOH. In the second reaction we have taken the hot and concentrated NaOH. In this chemical reaction main product is the NaOCl. In this chemical reaction the product is NaClO3. So that is about reaction between chlorine and NaOH. So next one, reaction with CaOH taken twice, calcium hydroxide. So straightly I am writing that chemical equation, CaOH taken twice plus Cl2 gives plus 2. Straightly I am writing CaOCl2 dot H2O. It is generally known as bleaching powder. When the chlorine is treated with calcium hydroxide, dry slaked lime, it forms bleaching powder. So that is about the reaction between chlorine and calcium hydroxide. So next one is reaction with hydrocarbons. So reaction with hydrocarbons, straightly I am writing those chemical reactions, CH4 plus Cl2 gives us to CH3Cl plus HCl. This chemical reaction is generally known as halogenation of alkanes. For example, if you have taken another one, C2H6 plus Cl2 gives us to C2H5Cl plus HCl. This chemical reaction continuously occurring up to the substitution of all the hydrogens by the chlorine atoms. So generally these chemical reactions are occurring in the presence of sunlight. In the presence of sunlight, these chemical reactions are occurring. That is about the reaction between chlorine and hydrocarbons. Next one is oxidizing properties of chlorine. So here I am writing, I am taking the H2O aqueous molecules. To this Cl2 is added. It forms HOCl plus HCl. When the water molecules are added to the chlorine, it forms hypochlorous acid and hydrochloric acid. And this HOCl again decomposes into HCl, and a newly bound oxygen is there, that is generally known as nascent oxygen. This is responsible for the oxidizing characteristics of chlorine. So now I am writing some of the oxidizing properties of chlorine here. First one, it is a ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate I am taken. To this sulfuric acid is added, and along with this chlorine molecule. So here aqueous medium is there. So chlorine oxidizes the ferrous sulfate into ferric sulfate, and remaining 2 hydrogens with the 2 chlorine atoms, 2 HCl is the subproduct. So now the statement for this chemical reaction is ferrous sulfate oxidized into ferric sulfate by the chlorine in the presence of water molecules. And that is about first oxidation reaction of chlorine. And then next one here I am writing, I am taking the iodine molecules with again water and chlorine. So with this nascent oxygen is releases, the chlorine oxidizes the Al2 into iodic acid, HiO3. So iodine into iodic acid, and the remaining or 2 hydrogens are removed from this. Total number of 12 are there. 2 removed, that means 10 hydrogens with 10 chlorines. So finally we can write 10 HCl. So that is about the one of the oxidation reaction of chlorine. So in the presence of water molecules, when it is in aqueous medium, it acts as an oxidizing agent. It oxidizes iodine into iodic acid. And the next one I am writing here another chemical equation. So I am taking the sodium sulfite. It is known as sodium sulfite. To this I am adding again H2O plus Cl2. In the presence of water, it acts as an oxidizing agent. So straightly I am writing the product 2 hydrogens with the 2 chlorines. Straightly we can write 2 HCl. And next thing, SO3 is there, only one oxygen that combines with this one, and the formation of sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfite oxidizes into sodium sulfate by the chlorine in the presence of water molecules. Okay, so these are the some of the oxidation reactions of chlorine. And then next chemical reaction I am writing. So here Again I am repeating this one. So HOCl gives rise to HCl plus O. Slightly I am combining those two. H2O plus Cl2 gives rise to 2HCl plus O. When the chlorine is treating with the H2O, it forms hydrogen chloride and along with nascent oxygen, and that nascent oxygen is adding to the colored substance. This nascent oxygen oxidizes the colored substance, and this colored substance loses the color and formation of colorless substance. So from this we can write, so chlorine with H2O is using as a bleaching agent. So that means it removes the color of the colored substance. So when this mixture is added to colored substance, they loses their color. So these are some of the chemical properties of chlorine.